Good afternoon. This is Ricardo DeMarchi. I'm from Exata Consulting, Translation and Interpreting. And I have news for February 26th, this Wednesday, on the Brazilian economic scene mostly, because we're just coming at the end of the carnival season for 2020. And politics has been kind of like not too much news. So we have much more economic news of the past few days to report on than we would have political news. The only major political development of these last few days was, let's say, the demands of the president that establishing street protests for a march organized for March 15th, which will be about providing him with some popular support for the congressional reforms that he has scheduled, and to gain back also control of the budget, which Congress has threatened to strip from him. So he has set up, the president has set up these March 15th demonstrations and has urged popular support and participation in them. And this is the big news for the weekend as far as politics is concerned. But we do have quite a bit of economic news. For 2019, the states have increased their receipts, their net receipts or revenues. But the discretionary budget continues to fall. So the states are in dire need of new investments. That is a report that came out of a major newspaper this morning. The OECD has urged Brazil to make its adjustments and not to sacrifice its popular programs. According to the OECD, the popular programs, notably Brazil's Bolsa Família program, is on track, is efficient, and it is an effective mechanism for empowering the lower middle class and the poor families. So that is not where Brazil has to make its adjustment. It has to adjust and make more efficient the government bureaucracy, if you will, less bureaucratic and more efficient in order to improve services to the population. That does not mean cutting its popular programs. Another major news story this morning is about the third nuclear power plant that Brazil has not yet finished. It's had its Angra 1 and Angra 2 nuclear power plants in operation for many years. Angra 3 has not yet been finished. The Federal Audit Court in Brazil, that is supposed to audit federal accounts, has demanded explanations. Another 15 billion reais, or about 3.5 to 4 billion US dollars, are necessary to finish work on the power plant. The question is it worthwhile or not? There is consistent news about Brazil's fiscal reform efforts. Brazil is known for having high payroll taxes and taxes that are consumption-based taxes that are very heavy as well on the populace, especially taxes on basic food stuff and medical supplies, products that the whole country uses. Further economic news is about what is probably being felt around the world, that the US dollar is strengthening itself. Good news again, as mentioned before in the previous days, good news for US investors interested in investing in Brazil. Not so good for Brazilian companies seeking to purchase products from overseas markets. So if you're an investor, invest locally in Brazil. That's the takeaway from the recent dollar strengthening. It's now hit a maximum for at least the last 10 years. And because of the coronavirus and the trade tensions, the expectations are that the currency will not recover its strength. This is the Brazilian currency. Last but certainly not least, we have the Saudi sovereign fund interested in investing up to $10 billion in Brazil. But there's a snag for the time being. There has been changes in this chief of staff's position, and the Saudis are waiting for new rules to be established before they come shopping in Brazil for the best investments possible. They're not necessarily looking at agricultural sector investments. They just want the best bang for the buck. So this is it for today. We're ending our carnival season today. Tomorrow businesses should be back to work. And in Brazil, it's often said that the economic year or the year only starts after the carnival season is over. For us, that'll be March 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So we'll see you then. Bye-bye.